It's JB here with episode 3 of the Burnley career mode for FIFA 19. We've got two fantastic games coming up as we try to get away from the bottom of the table. One from the league and one from the Carabao Cup. We take on Fulham at Craven Cottage in our first match. Crystal Palace on the 28th to finish August off in our second game. Not to mention the transfer deadline day. So plenty to get stuck into. And then the next episode you'll see Manchester United and Wolves respectively. So lots to get through, lots to do as we go into episode 3. This is the situation at the moment in the Premier League table. We're in the bottom 3 where our opponents Fulham are 3 points ahead of us in 11th place. So without further ado, let's go down to West London and to Craven Cottage where we take on Jukanowic's Fulham at Craven Cottage, knowing that 3 points will really kickstart our season. Well, here we are at Craven Cottage for Fulham's second game back in the top division after a gap of about 4.5 years. And James McCarthy, signed from Everton for £8.4 million, gets the opportunity here to line up for Fulham this afternoon. A beautiful bright sunshine here at Craven Cottage and not a cloud in the sky. So let's give you the two lineups, starting with Fulham. Fabricio in goal. Then a back four of Fosu-Mensah, Chambers, Mawson and Bryan. 3 in midfield with Zambo and Giza, McCarthy and Kevin McDonald, a former Claret. DePaul, Vieto and Schürrle are the front three this afternoon for Fulham. As for Burnley, they line up as follows. Joe Hart in goal for them. Lowton, Tarkowski, me and Shaw are the back four, so the same back four. Lennon, Hughes, Defoe and Gudmundsson the midfield quartet. And Balotelli and Ashley Barnes on the bench. Emmanuel Dennis is of course one of the subs. Burnley going into it with a very poor start. 2 defeats in their first 2 games. Here's Balotelli, big chance here for Mario Balotelli. Good save by the goalkeeper. And then the rebound from Barnes is deflected over. Looked like it was going to be there, but Barnes was denied. McDonald, good play. McDonald gets a second bite. Ball deflects and it's a corner. It's good purposeful running there by Kevin McDonald. The corner is taken short. The ball's in there. Header one, good save, Joe Hart. Well, that was a really good save. This is Lennon. This is Hughes. This is Balotelli. Oof. And the goalkeeper, right at the end of the first half, was not even moving. The moment it struck the shot, just didn't dip enough, and it remains no goals. It's been a bit spitty this second half so far, but we'll see what can happen here in the second as the ball comes in, and a good header from Dennis and a good save, and then off the post from Gudmundsson right at the start of the second half. We were saying how bitty it was in the first half, although there was a few chances met in the game. And now Schürrle at the other end. Fulham in business here. They can pull the ball back. Schürrle does pull the ball back, and then the shot from DePaul straight into the arms of Joe Hart, who did really well. Hughes. Oh, that's straight to McCarthy. Not what you want to be doing. McDonald. And all of a sudden it's Fulham who are going for the jugular here. Substitution. Off comes Kevin McDonald. No goal against him by the ex-Claret, but on comes Tom Kearney now to try and wrestle it back for Fulham. It's a good ball in there towards Emmanuel Dennis. And Balotelli, good save! That's an extraordinary piece of goalkeeping. And the ball cleared away into touch. Really was a remarkable save as the ball comes off. And Wanami will take his place in the Fulham side. Lawton. 13 minutes left, and that's a good ball to Emmanuel Dennis. Now can he be a menace? Yes! Oh, he can indeed. First goal of the season for the Nigerian, and it was a belter. Good ball through. Saw the gap in the back of the Fulham defence. Dennis kept his head. The goalkeeper came to meet him. And it was finished unerringly into the net. And Burnley take the lead at Craven Cottage. 79 minutes gone, and Emmanuel Dennis gets goal number 1 and puts Burnley in the lead. First for the club, incidentally. He's joining, and it could get even better because Hughes is through. It's Williams for Burnley. Good save by Fabricio. Now it's all hands on deck now for Burnley as they look to try and see this game out. And Seri now chips the ball in towards Sherla. Hooked away as far as Goodmanson, but he showed too much of that to Kearney. And Kearney getting onto his right foot, but he hits it too far over. And that could be the end for Fulham. Could be one of their final chances of the match. We see a substitution being made. The 4 off, Cork on. Here's Balotelli. Dennis is slightly injured as Balotelli goes to the goal. He'll come for Bobby Brady. He knocks it back in. Balotelli's there, and so too was Goodmanson. And in the end, fielded by Fabricio in the Fulham goal.
As indicated, there will be a minimum of 3 minutes of added time.
Seri, Kearney, Sherla. Seri now, Fulham looking for the equaliser, step forward and well held by Joe Hart. And we've played the 3 minutes and there is no more. Burnley have claimed their first victory of the season. 3 welcome points going back up the M1 and the M6 to Turf Moor. The winning goal from Emmanuel Dennis after 79 minutes has proved the difference once again. Great performance from the Clarets from start all the way through to finish. Fulham had chances but found Joe Hart in really good form in the goal. Final score here at Craven Cottage. Burnley win it by a goal to 0 over Fulham and claim their first 3 points.
3 points. You can't get much better than that. I mean, it was the perfect away performance against Fulham. I mean, there wasn't much highlights. I mean, I was struggling there to pick out a lot of highlights from the first half, but the second half certainly more than made up for that in terms of goalmouth entertainment and action and stuff, and it was really good. And to get the 3 points on the board is a huge relief, just to get off even out the bottom 3. So guess who's replaced us in the bottom 3 now? Cardiff are still in there, but Palace are dropped in, and Arsenal are bottom. Yes, Arsenal are bottom of the table. At the upper end of the table, Fulham still are in 12th, for Brighton in the top 10. Newcastle doing well there. Everton, Chelsea, Spurs, Bournemouth still there in 4th. Liverpool, Man City and Leicester, who were the champions a 3 years ago, and they've started as they need to go on 100% record. So 3 teams at the moment, that's Leicester City, Manchester City and Liverpool, all have 100% records. Right, anyway, it's cup tie football for our second and final match of the episode, and hopefully we'll have a lot more action for you then. Of course, Dan Adjie, once again, we're still waiting on the offers for him there. Player conversations. I might start Emmanuel Dennis in the next game. You'll have to find out and see. Right, let's have a look at the cup ties we got coming up. So this is round 2 of the Carabao Cup. We got Peterborough versus Brentford versus Peterborough, Southampton against Liverpool, Bournemouth play Ipswich, we go to Crystal Palace, and you'll see that highlights of that in a second. All Premier League tie, I should say, as Leicester take on Tottenham. Sheffield United will play Exeter City. West Ham play Manchester City. All Northwest, lower end sort of game. Accrington Stanley take on Rochdale. Wigan play Lincoln. Southend take on Swindon. Newcastle take on Reading. Wickham against Barnsley. And then we got Stoke against Norwich. Crewe against Preston. West Brom against Millwall. Morecambe against Walsall. And then completing the rest of the draw, Swansea take on Fleetwood. Cambridge against Mansfield. Portsmouth play Derby at Fratton Park. Coventry and Wimbledon, 2 old former Premier League clubs going head to head there. Yeovil against Aston Villa. Newport take on Burton Albion. Brighton take on Leeds. And Watford play Bury. And that is the draw for the Carabao Cup, and that's where we'll be going in just a second to Selhurst Park. Big match. Can we get our cup performances underway? It's another competition, and it could be a much changed side. So let's get over to Selhurst for a big game in prospect. Crystal Palace against the Clarets. Well, it's a wonderful atmosphere here down in South London. A beautiful late summer's evening for this Carabao Cup second round tie between Crystal Palace and Burnley, whose win against Fulham was a welcome one, their first of the season, which kept them huge confidence. But they face a Crystal Palace side who will not share any fools gladly. They've got a very strong bench, as you can see, with the likes of Benteke and Townsend up there. But also they've got Wickham and Ayew, who can cause problems up front. Watch out for the flanks of Sahar and MacArthur. They could cause problems. And Kelly and Sacco, two very robust centre-backs. And Julius Baroni, the evergreen goalkeeper. Burnley make two changes from their win against Fulham. Robbie Brady in for Aaron Lennon. And Emmanuel Dennis in for Ashley Barnes, who both dropped to the bench. Otherwise, it is the same team. We've had 17 minutes. We've had about 7 minutes of this game, and so far it's been a little bit bitty in places. Here's Ayew. Still Ayew. Good try, and over the top. Really good play there from Jordan Ayew. Gone into that bit of space, hit the shot, and he hit it well, but just couldn't keep the shot down. But that's got Selhurst Park purring a bit, certainly from the Crystal Palace viewpoint. As Hart takes the kick and he's giving it straight to Jordan Ayew. What a terrible thing to do. It's a calamity for Burnley. 11 minutes gone and Jordan Ayew gets the gift, and he takes it on offer to put Crystal Palace one up in this Carabao Cup second round. Oh, you feel for Joe Hart there. The Homestyle Road end go absolutely mad, and Burnley's Carabao Cup bid gets off to the worst possible start. Joe Hart gifting the ball straight to Jordan Ayew from the goal kick, and Ayew got one-on-one, and before Hart could get back and recover, was beaten all ends up. What a disastrous start to the game for Burnley. They trail by a goal to nil, and Ayew gets the goal. And it's that man again, Ayew, and Riedewald and Ayew. And we're coming up towards the dynamos of the first half, and that's a corner. Good block by Tolkowski. Burnley really haven't offered much as an attacking force. Maybe they're still a little jaded from their exploits the other day at Craven Cottage. But they need something to go in their favour here. Milivojevic with the corner for Palace. Burnley really do need to mark up in there. And towards Sacco! He's got in! Got a deflection on its way in. Sacco will try and claim it, but I have a feeling it may be a Luke Shaw own goal. Whatever it is, it's 2-0 to Crystal Palace, and Burnley have got it all to do here. Really poor static defending from the Clarets. Just wasn't good enough. Here comes the corner. It's a good corner for Milivojevic, and he gets up between two Clarets defenders, and Shaw on the line makes a brave attempt to get it off the line, but he can't, and in the end ends up inadvertently scoring an own goal. Well, here's Wickham in the second half. We've had about 9 minutes of it, and Burnley looking very jaded. Oh, and a chance here at the far post for Jordan Ayew once again. It might have been Wilfried Zaha. It was Wilfried Zaha with the volley, half volley, and it was on target, and Joe Hart had to work to get there. Crystal Palace corner. It has been very, very difficult for Burnley today as that corner comes in. Hart does claim the ball and claims it rather confidently, and then his throw was a little bit on the weak side, but Burnley just about getting away with it. Here's Lennon. That's a better ball now then. Balotelli to his right if he chooses to, but Balotelli goes alone, and what a tackle that is, and what a fantastic tackle. Nothing wrong with that at all. Looked as if Burnley were in for something there. Maybe a goal back with an hour play, but not to be. Here's Ayew. Van Arnold. Jordan Ayew once again.
Zaha, good ball in and away by Burnley. The white shirts. Here's Lennon. They just need one goal, Burnley. One glimpse of a chance and they're in. And that's a lovely ball to Brady. And Robbie Brady's in. He's got 3 to his left. And one of them was Emmanuel Dennis, and it's hooked away to safety. And Burnley denied again. Hughes got through to Dennis somehow. Gets his shot in, and a good save by Speroni. Quarter of an hour left of the game. Burnley not giving up their chances here of trying to win the League Cup this season, but their chances are decreasing by the second here as Palace have made a substitution. And Burnley are about to make one themselves. Off comes Jack Cork and on comes Stephen Defoe. As we now go into the closing stages of the match. Here comes the corner. Flick on, away. And it comes to Benteke, but it comes to Shaw. Now, a chance now to get Redeval to get the ball up towards Benteke. And Ayew has got possession. It's 1 against 1 here. Jordan Ayew. He's got past the stretched legs of Tarkowski, and then he fed in Benteke, who should have made it 3 from then on in. What a moment that could have been for Christian Benteke, and he just couldn't keep his shot down. A couple of minutes left. It's Palace who are going for a third one, and over the top. It's Benteke again. Trying to loop it over Joe Hart. Not the easiest thing to do. Balotelli walks off disconsolately. Ashley Barnes takes his place. It's been a very, very disappointing day for Balotelli and for Burnley, who maybe going out of this competition will be probably the best blessing in disguise you could possibly think of. Here's Ashley Barnes. He doesn't give up and pulls the shot wide. And that just sums up Burnley's afternoon in a nutshell. But it's the Holmesdale Road, guys. Supporters are celebrating the Crystal Palace fans. You've got to say, without being too biased, they have been the better team, and I think they've worthily deserved their place in the next round of the competition. As the referee calls an end to Burnley's misery, and it's been a miserable night. 3 defeats from the first 4 games, and they stumble out the League Cup in the first round at the first hurdle. Goals from Ayew and Sacco, although it will go down as a Luke Shaw goal. Palace could have won it by more. Burnley did have chances towards the end, but by then the time had more or less run out on their League Cup hopes. It's Palace who go through to round 3. The final score in a disappointing night for Burnley. Crystal Palace 2, Burnley 0.
I don't believe it. Out the League Cup. It's not even friggin' August, dear me. But never mind. Maybe it's a good thing going out the League Cup early, because it means now it means we can concentrate on Europe, and it means the League Cup now was probably 4th on the priority list, but it doesn't obviously make up for the fact that we've lost the game, and it is disappointing, obviously, but there you go. It's just one of those unfortunate things. So this is what happened in round 2. Brentford won on penalties after a 1-1 draw with Peterborough. Southampton are out though. They lost to Liverpool 2-1. Bournemouth won, Ipswich 1. Bournemouth winning out of 4-3 on penalties. We crashed out at Palace, as you saw. Spurs are also out, so we're not the only ones. 2-1 against Leicester. Sheffield United through against Exeter. West Ham have knocked Manchester City out, so maybe all the big teams aren't going to have it all their own way this year. Accrington 1, Rochdale 2. Wigan 2, Lincoln 2. Wigan winning on penalties. Southend 1, Swindon 0. Newcastle 1, Reading 2. Another Premier League team biting the dust. Wickham 0, Barnsley 2. Stoke 0, Norwich 0. No, Norwich winning that one 4-3 on penalties. Crewe 2, Preston 3. West Brom 2, Millwall 2. Millwall winning that one 4-3 on penalties. Morecambe 1, Walsall 2. And obviously there's still damn games to come, but well, disappointment there for the Clarets. But Palace were probably more than deserved it. We gave them a really stupid goal. Joe Hart will be kicking himself for that one. And really, we felt we had the right staff of players to do it. But just wasn't meant to be. So we've got to go back to the drawing board and get on with it there. So anyway, let's just we're still in free competition, so it's not the end of the world, and there's the FA Cup to play for in January, so I'm not too upset about it. We've spent, could still win some trophies this year, and the FA Cup is one I want to win, obviously. Dan Hadji is proving a pain in the backside to shift. I'm accepting every offer under the sun at the moment, but obviously nothing's coming right for me. We'll do the transfer window. Of course, there's 10 hours of that to go. So, we've obviously put the League Cup defeat behind us now. Try and get some try and sell some players, and we don't need. Very hard to sell a few at the moment, to be quite honest with you. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But I'll probably go after one more player, generally, depending on what we've got. We've spent £65 million. We've gained a £26.4 million, so we've net spent about 40 million quid. So which has not been too bad, really, in essence, really. Let's have a look. Charlie Taylor. Yeah, I would actually sell him, because obviously we've got Luke Shaw there. Stephen Ward is there too, so 6.4. We can negotiate with Real Sociedad, I would have thought. See if we can get him about about 8 million quid, I think we can. I want to sell him for about 8 million. 8.4. Obviously we want to get him to a boost value. Yeah, go on then, 7.2, you got a deal. We'll get 5% on any future sale. It is difficult, really, but Charlie Taylor's a good player, but we've got Luke Shaw now in the team, and that is what we want. We need the money because we need the extra. Predictable. Dan Hadji's broken down, right? So that does it for me then. Right, there's only one thing for it. If you can't be bothered leaving elsewhere, and you're not going to play ball, I'm afraid it's a release course for you. I'm afraid. Alright, if you can't, at the end of the day, I can't be bothered. If you want to, I want you to move, and yet it frustrates the living daylights out of me. Does that? Just waiting for confirmation of Taylor's sold. So the Taylor's been sold. So we've got left now. We have raised, and we have now got 21.41 million to spend. Right, we've got 8. I only need one more player to get in. Let's look at the transfer hub, see what is left for me to buy. Obviously, it's got to be right for the football club. There's no point in getting the right. We're going to get the right players in. Let's look at some of the right backs that we had. We'll get Danilo. I think we'll get Danilo in. We need a right back. Lawton isn't cutting the mustard at the moment for me, so Danilo might just be the man we want. So we go to the cutscene. Pep Guardiola. Personally, I'd put up a Lawton on a plate if I would. So 12.3. That's what we offer. 13. Go on, I think he's a good player. And so we agree on it. It's a little bit more than I wanted to spend, but he's a good player, and I would have him in my team at any point of the season. So we go to the cutscene. Contract, players agent involved. He's on 93 grand, so obviously he's going to be crucial. He needs to be. He wants to sign a 3-year deal. I would have countered that. I want him to sign a 4-year contract. So that's good. We disregard the release clause. Now the salary. We'll try 90k. No signing bonus. See what he says. Oh, well, that's 4 grand less he's getting at Manchester City, but we've got a real deal there. And Danilo becomes our final signing of the summer, because there's nothing now left in the kitty for us there. So I'm absolutely delighted with that. Danilo comes from Manchester City to Burnley. So a good signing there. And I think we've done well in the window. Danilo will wear number 3 like he did at Manchester City, which I'm quite pleased about. There we are. There's confirmation. There's my alter ego on the left, on the right, Danilo on the left. I think 13.2 million for a 79 rated player. I think that's quite a good deal. He's 27. He's so he's still got a bit to. He's still pretty raw there. So I think that's a very good deal, and I'm delighted about that. So we've got 4 hours left on the transfer window, so we've got our player in, we've got our usual traditional player incoming there, so I'm very happy at the moment. And then obviously they've used the money to buy Jan Vertonghen from Tottenham, so well done to Manchester City there. They spent the money, I felt, quite wisely in that aspect. Well, that brings us to the end of the transfer window and to another action-packed episode. So let's just check the office. Obviously there was bids in for Defoe and Pope, which we'll be rebuffing, because we might need Nick Pope. We definitely need Stephen Defoe at the moment. But something has to give. Something has to give in terms of results here, because we've lost 3 out the first 4 games, and we play Manchester United. We're in 14th place at the moment. That will be the first game of the next episode. We play Man United, then Wolves in the next episode. Hope you can join me for that one. But for me, JB, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you for episode 4 very soon. Take care. Bye bye.